Nyemkas' dream was the transition, I suppose, from me being a production designer to being a director. And I was looking for a project, looking for a film to make. People around me were saying, you should be a director, you should be a director. Maybe it's time you change from being a production designer to be a director. You'd make a great director. I spent time researching various ideas, and one day I was reading the Guardian newspaper, and on page 7 was a small article about Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital city of Mongolia, and it was talking about a speedway club, an ice speedway club in Mongolia. And it mentioned the name of the captain of the speedway club. His name was Nyemka. Here we see Nyemka, first shot of Nyemka. I was actually, all of these opening shots were me just getting used to him, getting his confidence. Didn't speak a word of English, didn't know who I was. I think I completely freaked him out. I just turned up out of the blue with a camera and said, I want to make a film about you. So the film starts with the first 3 shots in Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia. I was actually testing my camera, 16mm Canon Scopic, battery operated. Just a light bulb on the end of an arm, rotating arm on a lighting stand. This scene is about Nyemka's journey, obviously, in the circle of an ice speedway track. They race on an oval track on a frozen lake, and it combines the speed of the bikes, and then it's my journey on the Trans Siberian Express. Cutting to the mechanics of the speedway bike, and bam, here we are in the stadium. This is stadium in Russia. Ice Speedway Stadium in Russia, and then we cut straight to my journey on the Siberian Express.
Right.
These shots here are actually me. I rented an aeroplane from a local, like a game rancher who took me up on his plane and literally leant out of the window of his plane to shoot the aerial shot. I mean, it's funny. You could say they were mistakes, but they were kind of fortunate, poetic, abstracted mistakes, which I kind of made a career from.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, to be really honest, I didn't even know whether what speed I was shooting. It was so cold. The batteries would run flat. First time I got to know Nyemka here in a tent with his kid. So he brought his son along, and just these portraits are so beautiful of him. And that's his suit, that's his race suit. It's the only race suit he's ever had. And his little grey woolen sweater. With the films that I even now make, sound design is telling a story for me. So you're hearing the introduction of the Russian speedway team over the tannoy in a stadium in St. Petersburg, actually in Ekaterinburg in Siberia. All of these sounds are recorded in the speedway stadium in Ekaterinburg. Old school starting lineup. Tape, bullshit. So it's really getting to the first bend and getting traction. Classic long exposure. You can't do this anymore. You cannot shoot like this on video. It's impossible. Those previous shots, you have to be shooting on film. You can't do that. The number of times I've spoken to DOPs and they're standing there with a big Alexa video camera, like, well, we can't do that. That's film. There's so many animal sounds in there. I don't know whether you remember Raging Bull. I mean, this was, the sound designer in Raging Bull was using these kind of deep animal tones. So there's a lot of that going on in here. But the sound of the bikes, they were beasts. Always over the tannoys, constant echoing of the commentary, because they commentate on the races, and it just echoes across the frozen lakes. obsessed with tunnels.
Right.
Part of my obsession with tunnels, and it's kind of an editing technique. It takes me from one place to another place very quickly. A tunnel can take me from one world to another world. Nyemkas a wolf hunter, so the reason I got interested in him was the story. He was about a wolf hunter and captain of the Mongolian ice speedway team. It was the article I was reading. I was like, hang on a minute, there's something.
That's so interesting.
So he wouldn't take me actually hunting, but he sold skins on the streets of Ulaanbaatar. So animal skins was how he made his trade. And then and speedway racing. So these guys would build their own motorbikes. They would be given donated motorbike parts by the Russians. So they'd take their bikes on a Trans-Mongolian, Trans Siberian Express and go and race in Russia with their bikes. But everybody else would laugh at the Mongolians. Cardboard motorbikes, cowpesh just made with a pair of scissors.
Because you can tell there's something
not right about it.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is,
You don't know what it is.
but you're suddenly above something that makes you feel like it's the Speedway Stadium. Everything about, I think, this film, whether love it or hate it, whatever you think of it, at least it, I think, makes you feel something. What I loved about Nyemka was his grey woolly jumper and his moustache, and he would play with his. He was nervous. He'd never been filmed before. He didn't know what, as I said, he had no idea what was going on. He hadn't even seen a film camera before. Editing, Adam Marshall, incredible editor. You can shoot everything and anything, but unless you have an editor who has the artistic, creative understanding of what the director's trying to achieve, you have nothing. Begging, borrowing, stealing favors for shots, and at the time shooting, you could do that. You could strap a camera on the roof of a car at the time, and nobody would ask her what a question. It's like, what are you doing? It's not really safe. It's like you just do it. I listened to this again without pictures. Just the sound of that truck, just the sound of the welders, the sound of the sparks. You see this Johnny shot of the sparks, the same snow shot from Nyemka's Dream. Harry, and the character of this film is a Midwest American version of Nyemka.
But tell us about the technique of how you're getting these sounds and how you're achieving the layering.
Same way I get the images, I suppose. It's just it is simply layering. It's purely emotional.
It's instinct for you.
It's totally instinct.
Yeah.
You just, it's some Russian commentary. I spent 2 months looking for stock footage from the Russian space station.
You still don't know at this point what this commercial is for.
No, they were.
But that's the beauty of it. And that was the adventurism of the agency and Audi.
Well, the look on the creative director's face when he watched the first presentation of this film, he was like, "Oh fuck, what have we done?"